Good morning, basketball fans. It's so nice to have day basketball around. After months of missing it, I'm sure we are all in the same boat in this one. It has been fun to watch the last couple days. Let's talk about this slate. Obviously, it starts pretty early today. Before we get into it, guys, make sure you get over to Overlay today. The link to their Twitter account is below in the description section. We can't share links to sites, otherwise YouTube will shut you down. I know, silly rule, but it is what it is. We got a couple of 5-pick shootouts up on the board. A $44 one and an $11 one. You just got to pick your 5 favorites. You can go in there. We won't be able to get to the show today, but you can do things like pick between Doncic and Antetokounmpo, Nurkic and Jokic, Kawhi and Porzingis. They give you a tough matchup like this and make you make the decision. Pick your 5 favorites. As you can see, they give you a long laundry list of who you can pick from, and you just kind of go with it from there. So it's exciting. They're usually very close. And once the playoffs come back, they'll bring back their progressive jackpot. So it'll give us an opportunity to go for that almost $20,000 jackpot that they have up there. That being said, let's talk about today's DK picks. Just to reiterate to everybody, day passes are up. Buy a day pass, get both baseball and basketball. Write-ups usually come out 60 to 90 minutes prior to the slate starting, just as an FYI. Memberships are also done through the website, so monthly, annual, lifetime, you would get all of the sports that are applicable at the time. So in a couple of weeks, we're going to have 3 sports going. Those would all be covered under monthly memberships as well as annual and lifetime. Subscribe to the nation if you're new to it. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it. Thumbs up is appreciated. So let's break down the Miami Heat a little bit today. They're still without Jimmy Butler. Kendrick Nunn is now out for a little while. And they're very possibly going to be out with Goran Dragic, who I'm sure would probably like to play today, but he did really kind of funky up his ankle the other day. So that's their ball handlers. They are out. Their point guards are Dragic and Nunn. So they're already without 1, possibly without 2. Jimmy Butler has a lot of the offense run through him. He's not around. And then you can run the offense through Bam a little bit. He's an excellent passer for a big man. But unfortunately, he just can't bring the ball up the court and run the offense because he's a big guy. And that leaves us with Andre Iguodala at 4,500, who I like a lot today no matter what. But if Dragic is out, I think he's one of the better plays overall on the slate. So Iggy has played 30 minutes per game-ish over the past 2, so they got him in there for pretty big minutes, and he's capable of being the de facto point guard. Look for him and Tyler Hero to kind of handle the ball handling duties more than anything. Iggy is a veteran presence. He's clearly part of Miami's playoff plan. I think this was a very under-the-radar signing for Miami to be more competitive in the playoffs. Iggy brings a lot of experience all those years with the Warriors. He does a lot of different things to stuff the stat sheet. He's not going to score 30. He's not going to grab 20 rebounds or anything like that. But at the end of the day, don't be surprised to see him with 12 points, 7 boards, 7 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. This guy just does enough little things. He's also a very underrated player for a lot of people. This guy was he sacrificed a lot of his own numbers to play for a championship team. He did that for a long time. He's a very good player, and I like him a lot today, especially if Dragic is out. Next up, let's talk about my Milwaukee Bucks. So let's start with the Bucks in general today. What can we expect out of them? They officially clinched the number 1 seed in the East. There's no home court advantage, so it's really not that big of a deal either way, but it's officially clinched. I expect them to play hard today, and I expect their big guys to play normal minutes. However, I do want to make sure I'm very clear. I don't know that for a fact. For some of these teams that are out of it, I liked Anthony Davis a lot the other day against the Rockets. Well, he didn't play in the 4th quarter, so there is a little trepidation on spending bigger money players. And if you like guys from the Bucks, for me, almost in a way, it doesn't hurt to play 2 or 3 starters. Especially if you're kind of go for and playing bigger minutes. So I expect them to, but it's not for sure. It is very possible they could sit guys in the second half. My thought process is they didn't look good most of the time in the bubble. They were managed to beat Boston in the first game, but Jason Tatum was 1 of 100 from the field. Then they lost to Houston, had some real problems down the stretch. Did not play well against the Nets, even though they set their guys, and then had a really bad first half against Miami. But they got it together at halftime. Played really well in the second half. And my expectations are they want to have at least one more really, really good game to feel playoff ready. So I expect them to play hard, but again, it is not a guarantee. So Brook Lopez is only $5K. He's got 30-plus in every game in the bubble. He's been playing bigger minutes. He's very affordable. This is another guy. Milwaukee kind of needs him in crunch time. Giannis is amazing. He does so much to help the team, but it's really not his thing in a half court, with a minute to go to get to the hoop. That's when the defense steps up. It is the weakness to his game. And that's where a guy like Brook Lopez, who kind of like Iguodala, is underrated in what he offers. Not only is he an excellent defender and can shoot threes, but this is a guy who used to be like a 2010 guy back in the day, and he can play back to the basket. And if you need a tough hoop down the stretch, he's not a guy that you mind getting the ball in his hands. So you've watched them experiment this. He's shot more two-point shots in the bubble so far. Seems like they're really trying to get him playoff ready, and I do not expect him to be super high owned for GPP efforts. All right, next up, let's take a look over at the Clippers. They got another guy who I like to take a look at today. Today's slate is not as easy as most of the other ones have been so far. You're going to have to get a little dirty with it, and part of that comes from the fact you just don't have a real clear idea of what every team wants to do as far as minutes. A lot of these teams have nothing to play for now, so it is a little scary. Marcus Morris has played 36 minutes per game over the past two. He's looking more and more comfortable with his new team. And let's not forget, this guy can play. He averages 17 points on the year. Now, most of that comes from his time with the New York Knicks, and he'll never have the kind of usage he did with the Knicks with the Clippers because, well, the Knicks don't have anybody like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I think that one's pretty obvious to y'all, so I didn't need to spend too much time on it, but he's been playing well. He's better than his price tag. He's been playing bigger minutes. We still don't have any Montrezl Harrell. And I think it's smart of the Clippers to really make sure he gets his touches with the team and feels comfortable because this is the guy that can play. You'd want him to play some decent minutes in the playoffs, so I like him today in a pretty good matchup with the Portland Trailblazers. Last up, let's talk about the elephant in the room. There's a couple guys who've looked really good in the bubble, TJ Warren, Michael Porter Jr., a few others. What to do with Porter today? So we're still without Will Barton, still without Gary Harris. Paul Millsap will be back today, but Jamal Murray is still firmly questionable. I'm going to assume because he's coming off back-to-back monster games and he became very chalky last time out that he would be chalky again today. I would play him in cash games, but I can definitely get on board with the GPP fade, especially if Jamal Murray happens to be back. Look, this kid's a stud. He's got game. Like, this is not a total shocker that he's playing like this because there's just some guys out there. They're just better than you. And he's a guy that his game is better than almost everybody in the NBA, with the exception of, the stars and the superstars. And he's coming for some of those guys. Now, is he a lock to go for 50 plus every time, to shoot 66% from three, to rebound like a madman? No, he is not. So I like the idea in cash games because he's proved to be a slate buster, but I can completely get on board with the GPP fade with MPJ because, again, this guy's really good, but we have not seen any version of consistency like this from him at any point in his career. And do we really think that overnight he just went to a 50-plus per day, every single day kind of guy? No. And now his price tag is up there, too. He's $7,200. You have to take a negative detriment to your salary cap in order to play him. So I think it does make for an intriguing fade in GPPs. It becomes a harder fade, though, if Jamal Murray's out again today, because then they just don't have nearly as many bodies. But that's my thoughts on him. I expect him to get love again because he deserves it, and I'd play him in cash games, but I'm really, really thinking about the GPP fade on this one. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all watching today. Click that thumbs up button. Head over to the website. The link is below. If you want to get a membership, we'd love to have you. Bellman will come out and do baseball later. We're going to divvy it up separately on the weekends just so we're not working all day every single day. We appreciate y'all watching, and have a great day.